So the US military has just boarded and seized an Iranian cargo ship.
Vacate your engine room.
This after Iran opened the Strait of Hormuz only to close it again. This whole thing against the backdrop of a ceasefire that's technically in effect, except not at all. What's more, set to expire in a couple of days. As all of this is happening, China is watching very closely, invested in the outcome of this war.
U.S. intelligence indicates that China is making preparations to deliver new air defense systems to Iran.
China denies providing weapons to Iran, by the way, but it raises the question, what is China's angle here? It wants the fighting to stop, so Iran can start selling it oil again. Nobody buys more Iranian oil than China. They buy 90% of it, more than 1 million barrels of oil a day. All of the oil sealed inside the Strait of Hormuz. The oil that hasn't been flowing? No country buys more of that oil than China. But all of this also makes Iran an important ally that China needs to keep on side, and keeping the war going might tap into a much longer-term strategic objective, allowing America to fail.
In the short term, this will harm the U.S. diplomatically, it could harm the U.S. economically, it could harm the U.S. militarily.
You don't have to look very hard to see how the war on Iran has become a political problem for the U.S., both at home and abroad. Gas prices, up and up and up. America's allies, quick to draw a line in their involvement. America's actions themselves, grave enough to spark calls for a war crimes investigation.
Beijing always trying to drive wedges between the US and its allies in Europe and Asia alike as a key priority of foreign policy. So the fact that Washington is driving those wedges itself, China doesn't even have to do the work. I mean, that's a huge benefit for Beijing.
China has been investing, reforging ties with the very same trading partners hit by American tariffs, building inroads with countries now questioning the reliability of the US, welcoming those countries that feel rattled by the Americans with open arms.
So what we've seen under the second Trump administration is that China is really looking towards all of these economic and diplomatic partnerships.
China is always rooting for the United States to get bogged down in the Middle East in wars of unclear political objectives because China thinks that it gives them more freedom of action in the Indo-Pacific.
But China can't rock the boat too much. China grew to become the world's second largest economy because the world was a stable enough place to do business. Oil arriving on time, predictable supply chains, lots of money changing hands, buying absolutely everything China has to sell. So, the China dilemma: how to make the most of instability without becoming a victim of it.